Good day, everyone. Welcome to Nizaluji. Welcome to another epic episode. So today I want us to talk about crime. You know, when crime has been done by the police, it's something else. Because what we know is that crime has been done by criminals. So if those who are now employed to protect the country, the men who are serving under the badge, are the ones who are peddling, pushing crime, using now the blue uniform, it is something else. I have this clip. I want you to listen to this clip very carefully, because this clip will just give you the overview, insight of what is happening within the police force. So we are not talking about some criminals without, but we are talking about the criminals within now the police force, the people who are using the badge, wearing the blue uniform, but they are just peddling, pushing corruption. So this clip has been done by the taxi boss, who is the ex-member of the police unit, and is speaking how he was dismissed, how they got rid of him because of some snitches, police that are so corrupt within the police department. But before we jump to that clip, let us start here. Crime Intelligence Boss General Khumalo reinstated as a head of crime intelligence on Tuesday morning. So the man is back at his job, right? This comes after he being temporarily removed from his post in late June following his arrest after he was accused by just one man. Paul O'Sullivan has a big issue. They don't get along with General Khumalo. And General Khumalo's problems are there because of just this one man, Paul O'Sullivan. Paul O'Sullivan and Major General Khumalo, they are just at war because General Khumalo hired Dineo Mukwele to give her the position of becoming a brigadier. And seems like Paul O'Sullivan did not like that because he was not consulted. So Mukwele was allegedly employed in a senior role despite having no policing experience and without being vetted. Advocate Andrea Johnson, head of African Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, IDAC, she was part of the interview panel that considered her husband for the promotion, and nothing has happened to the IDAC boss, Andrea Johnson, as now she employed her husband. She made now the department to employ family members, and it was so very pity that Paul O'Sullivan never went for her or even laid some criminal charges against her. All was well, cool and fine with them because Andrea Johnson is friends and a close associate of Paul O'Sullivan. Remember that it was revealed that Paul O'Sullivan has captured IDAC, has captured the NPA. So these two are now buddies. General Khumalo hired a young lady without following the right procedure. Also, IDAC boss Andrea Johnson hired a family member, her husband, not following the procedure. The same crime but different treatment. Those whom Paul sided with, they are not persecuted, but those whom Paul has been portrayed as enemies and people who do not agree with Paul O'Sullivan, they become persecuted. Khumalo is suffering and being harassed because he crossed paths with Paul O'Sullivan, who didn't want this young lady to be hired as a brigadier. O'Sullivan called this young lady, asking her some many questions like, who appointed you? Just imagine, legally so the man was appointed by the intelligence boss General Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence. But now the outsider comes and asks, who appointed you? So Paul called the meeting between IDAC and the minister and the office of the Inspector General Intelligence. Let us hear what Paul had to say here.
Well, I think these people knew that the net would be closing in on them. I personally spoke to accused number 7, which is Brigadier Mukwele. I spoke to her in January and I asked her to explain how she got appointed at the age of 29 years, how she got parachuted into the Crime Intelligence Division at the rank of Brigadier. when there are people there that have been serving for 30 or 35 years who haven't even achieved the rank of brigadier, and they must now report to this young lady who knows nothing about policing. And she told me I should speak to head office. So instead of speaking to head office, I spoke to IDAC, the minister, and the office for, what's it called? The Office of the Inspector General for Intelligence. And I had several meetings with them in my offices, and we packaged everything up and we gave it to them. But the reality is that we have now 5 generals and 2 brigadiers that have been arrested within a 24-hour period and arraigned in court. Of the 7, 6 have been granted bail, in very small amounts, by the way. I can't believe that somebody can commit such serious crimes and only be granted bail of 10,000 rand. Of course, they would probably have to hand in their passports and report their movements to the investigating officer.
When it comes to Paul O'Sullivan, to call him to assemble before the Madlaga Commission or the Hado Committee, it is not enough. A serious case needs to be opened against Paul O'Sullivan. So he's causing division within the police force, right? Imagine the Paul O'Sullivan persecutor, someone who is the major general within the police force. That now that person was almost fired and dismissed. In fact, he was almost sentenced just because Paul O'Sullivan dislikes the person. But Paul has his own crew and cronies within the heads and the leaders of the police, like IDAC boss Andrea and also the NPA leaders. They are in the side of Paul O'Sullivan, and now the judiciary also is in the side of Paul O'Sullivan. Do you know that before you open a criminal case before Paul O'Sullivan, it is the court issued a directive to say that he must be given 48 hours. 48 hours before legally your case will be bounding against him. Why does Paul have to be given 48 hours before he may give an account or be arrested or have that criminal charge against him? Why is that? It shows that the man is in charge, is controlling even the court. And there are people who have tried to bring Paul O'Sullivan down. All of them, they have failed. Paul O'Sullivan is not attending any criminal case against him, but there were some allegations that stood against now Paul O'Sullivan and accused him of meddling, peddling, and sticking his nose where it does not belong. So very interesting. We need Paul, we need political parties and those who care for this country to take Paul head on. The man must go behind bars. This man must be persecuted. It is not only Paul, by the way. There's a lot of rotten cops, snitches within the police force who are also corrupting now the movement of the police, right? I want you to listen to this clip. This is a former police who is now the taxi boss, just exposing and explaining everything on the corruption that is happening within now the department. Imagine there's a corruption happening within the department, and there's a corruption happening now in the heads of the department, and there are some outsiders now who have captured their department, like the likes of Paul O'Sullivan. No, it's a mess. It is a mess. Listen to this clip here.
Good morning, General Masemula. Good morning. What General Mchunu is doing there's still a lot to come. General Mapiani, General Amon Mashiku, General Permal Naidu, General Sinona. Those were all the criminals in the police that tried to get rid of members that stopped them in doing their wrongs. Some of us are sitting at home today not working. We're serving the country with pride and love. We're giving the police everything we have. If I can get a chance to talk to Ntlatla Mkhwanazi, I'll tell him everything that I know. I'll tell him how the vehicles were stolen by General Mashihu and Mapiani out of the SAP 13. I know so much about them. The syndicate of Mamelodi, the big syndicate that steals cars. with the children of Amun Mashiach. If you talk, General Amun Mashiach will get rid of you. General Mapiani, he was raping the junior constables for promotion. If you disclose that, I went and sat down with the late Brigadier Ntengo and gave him everything that I have. General Mapiani makes sure that he get rid of me. I was in a meeting, or I was charged on a departmental hearing where a Colonel van der Merwe and a Colonel Falk was sitting. He went to the office of Colonel van der Merwe and chased him away to Sunnyside police station just because he didn't complete the mandate that he gave him to dismiss me. How many more policemen are sitting at home that this country needs that are dismissed illegally? General Begi Cele, I was called by Minister Mte, I forget his name now. And the colonel that called me was Simon, the minister's office. They gave us things to check for them about Begi Cele's cases. There was a case that we picked up in Begi Cele in Bangeni, where he killed a lady's brother that was working at ministry. Begi Cele makes sure that they get rid of myself and General Hlela, just because we are totally against his wrongdoings. General Hlela was a good policeman. How many more good policemen is this country going to lose with this corrupt police that we have? It's a good thing that they get Senzo Mchunu. But Senzo is not alone. Begi Cele is also part and parcel of them. I want you to listen to this thing, and I want you people to call me on WhatsApp. I'll come and I'll explain that to you. Commissioner, I work with you at POPs. There's certain things when we get the DPCI that we saw happening. You can't talk anything. If you talk, you get dismissed. If not, you get assassinated. There were people like General Pahlani. There was things that he never agreed with. He was so much terrorized, he found himself walking in cuffs. He was even on media for things that he never did. The corrupt people, General Tim Williams, General Vuma, I can count them. But it will come out. I will send Ntlanhla Mkhwanazi and I'll give him most of the information. It's bad outside. It's bad outside. If you know what we know, then it's critical. In the police, if you give the police your heart, there's guys. Warrant Officer Munyai is today dismissed at VS. He's sitting at home, he's not working. For what? Nobody knows. Just because he knows too much. Myself, I'm sitting at home. I'm now a taxi boss, and that was never my calling. My calling was to be a police officer. I left what I love just because of certain commanders didn't like me, knowing that they were not clean. I can count from provincial to national. We lose good policemen like General Hlela. General Pahlani was a good policeman. I'm sure about it just because I know. But he was so much hated. They hate him so much and make sure that they want to get rid of him. We are not protected. There's more policemen that are going to leave just because they were not like General Mkhwanazi and saying we will stand up for that. And that's why some of us today walk on the streets, we're driving taxis with the whole experience. I'm a narcotic specialist. I'm doing drugs, I'm doing entrapments on policeman corruption and all those. But I'm today a taxi driver with all my knowledge. But whatever the police gave me, thanks. I appreciate the police made me a better person. I make a vow with God. Even if I'm a husband today, nobody will find me on the wrong side of the law. I'm a born policeman. I'll never go out and do robberies like other policemen. I'll suffer at home, but God will look after me. This country will still lose very good policemen. I wanted to take on Brigadier van Niekerk in Cape Town. What I saw at Cape Town Central Police Station. South African people got killed by Zimbabweans and Xhosa guys that are around there at the bus stations, but no attention from the police. We don't have a problem. We love this country. This is our country. But we have more criminals in the police than outside. We have more criminals in the justice system than in jail. This country needs justice. This country needs justice, Commissioner. I work with you at Pops, together with your wife too. You are a very good man. We still love you, most of us today. But no one came to our intervention. No one came up and said, the country needs us policemen. They were proudly policemen. We're sitting at home today, we're doing nothing. Nobody is there ever to worry about us. There's people that were used by Commissioner Mapiyani to dismiss people for no reason, as long as they know that what he is doing together with General Sinona at DPCI was wrong. General Sibia was a puppet of them. He was doing the same when he came from the Scorpions. He was a CSI, Chief Special Investigator at the Scorpions. He was always with Mapiani, and Mapiani teach him all his funny things. And that's why he is what he is today. I told people, I said, I was talking to General Mutela. I said, General, helping CBI to go back to the police, to destroy the police. CBI is not a policeman. CBI is a criminal. CBI is a criminal. CBI put General Dramat in the wrong way. Just because General Dramat has never been a policeman. And that's why General Dramat finds himself home today. Very polite man, a good man. Unfortunately, he was not a policeman. He didn't even know where to start. He couldn't even refuse and say this is wrong. These generals that used to protect the police, that used to fight, like General Len Rasikhatla. They used to fight and say, let me protect my policemen. But all those that were against corruption, SAPS let them out. I want you to listen to this video. You can record it and put it on media. But the police have still a lot to lose. Thank you, General.
As if that was enough, did you hear the corruption that has been done by the police? So after Paul has been persecuted, the police department altogether, all of them, they will need a revamp. They will need to renew, to replan, and to rehire new people. People who will be working. People who will dedicate their lives, their hearts to the service. People like Lieutenant General Khumalo, who are fearless and who does not want to associate with crime. People who will be sober and wanting to take this country to the next level and to provide security that is needed. The policeman has not dealing with some criminals. It's a criminal under uniform. And there's no harmony when it comes to thugs and the police. These two must be separated for the safety of the nation. What's your take on this? Please leave a comment on the section below, and don't forget that you can subscribe to this political YouTube channel. Let us meet on the next video, and I'm out.